4 a.m, there are people asleep on the steps and I walk on. I am not drunk enough for their antics. Discarded cigarette boxes litter the monument and I see a guy pat his girlfriend on the back. I told you we shouldn't have come out tonight. A man approaches me and asks for a light. I don't smoke, I say, and walk on down the sanctuary of Grey Street.
Wind, a howling gale rushing through the black tunnel. Still, stand still. Must keep standing still. Don't run, don't bolt. Still, still, still.
There is no sound on the bridge, or words being whispered over books, or under the bus stop, or in the concert halls of the sage, whose collective hollow ache feels like graffiti in an empty street, shouting at no one.
There's something about a sunrise that makes watching it alone more bearable. Maybe it's the feeling of being at one with nature, even if I'm not at one with any other person. I feel ethereal and it lifts me up and above the simple human life that constrains us. With limbs dangling over the edge of the bridge, down into a dark Tyne, just beginning to sparkle softly in the fighting light, I imagine that the slow diffusion of shy, magical warmth through me can heal. Maybe it is because the battle against the late night has concluded again, and somehow and somewhere faith is still there. The streets are long in the night time, and the people brasher than the music spilling out of their false sanctuaries that contaminate my silence. Maybe it is the timid red of the sky, and how it looks even more frightened than I am. Once the burning orb regains its bright hold on the city, I leave my vantage point, the point of view of God.
It's music of the shadows, born and bred in dark. Stretching wings turn to stems. They're bullets that pierce the laughter of the next hall with their crescendos and chords. They swirl forth from the mouth of the lone figure on centre stage. Black snakes coil perilously around his feet as the words he finds capture those he charms and snare them on the gleaming hook of his sentences and the syllables he breathes to life. Right, don't think about how many people have committed suicide jumping off this bridge. Bethan, it's not going to fall down, and you are not going to jump off, so what's your bloody problem?
Grey-blue shards of light jut through curved triangles in the metal, illuminating not quite bottle green but something deeper in rain cloud-born hues.
The familiar drizzle only means there are 1,000 rain droplets accompanying me as I tread the now flecked ground. 1,000 different companions, unique in their construction and character. They burrow in me, my hair, my clothes, trying to fill in all of me. They love me. I am changed from their short friendship. My skin glistens, I tremble, I feel like I know what it is like to cry. It is as addictive as being in love.
A city of stuck between the lovers and the haters. They dance around the walls of the city of stuck, weave through alleys and under bridges and through the minds of the discontent.
I used to run over this bridge from the ages of 11 to 15 until I was too old to do the Dream Great North Run. I was always a bit scared it'd tip. I'd seen it move before and was not stupid. I knew it could do that all again. Sprinting full force over the bridge, I'd keep on going till I hit the Newcastle side, for that was the finishing line. Even now, in the run up to university, Newcastle is still the finishing line. Millennium Bridge is beautiful, lights up at night, all rainbow and bright, and adds to the lush line of bridges connecting the long-lost lovers Newcastle and Gateshead. And for some reason, I'm never scared of falling off this one, and I never think of people ending their lives, for even as the rain lashes down in the middle of summer, the Millennium Bridge is hopeful.
where the angels preach sermons of change atop monuments which fixate on past victors of democracy. The angels of hope continue on without a need to recharge, for they are powered by the dreams of a clean world.
A first date plays out on the Millennium Bridge, and a boy whose only friend is the guitar he plays against the flaking quayside railings watches, biting into a pasty. After tossing the paper towards the black water, he weaves his way up to the monument and stands among the protesters, who hold megaphones like batons and scream atop the 3-foot platform like it's the side of a mountain, and they've just realized why they're alive.
Escalators, trundle trundle, creaking and clanking like the rackety old tram that used to run down the street outside.
Up the street and to the left, running past bags and bodies, shoes, and the thud of 1,000 feet stomping, glimpsing through windows, worlds of fresh pressed suits and glints of gold.
They see not what we see, the smiling faces of students paid £9 an hour to fundraise. Donate your wages, the devils remind us. It's all a corruption. They trample through the minds of the city hopefuls and singe away the lingering change.
An old man shuffles past the crowd and through the grand Waterstone doors to buy a good book that will help him deal with his brother coming first in their race to heaven.
That busker is playing slap bass again. My pace quickens to the music. I must avoid a full-blown dance or flash mob of one.
Scrolling, mindless scrolling, walking through Eldon Square. The Q2 buzzes down the quayside on my way to work, and I watch the odd few passers-by walk solemnly on.
Sometimes I like to go stand where others stand. I anticipate their friends, lovers, acquaintances for them, and hope that the practiced expectation on my face bears a likeness to theirs, to someone who has something to wait for. On occasions, someone will walk in my direction, meet my intense gaze, and I cannot help the brief hope that flares up behind my eyes and in my throat and chest as I stand as erect as the column behind my back until they walk past. Sometime later, I am the only one left, Earl Grey and I, standing together alone.
Round the corner, megaphonic sentiments wave through the air, but here I stand. I'm not sure if the Indian tourist family are taking pictures of the monument or me. I sneak off when the dad tells me to say cheese.
His words burst forth, invigorated and thriving, mixed amongst the crowds, bumped along with the bustle of endless footsteps, treading hard-worn consumer tracks before the long drive home. In the midst of commotion, a simple anchor, a rally point, a lighthouse sounds the light. Stone Man stands tall and grey and proud. Note birds reborn from the ashes of the fading strum of an old man's old guitar. Speak to me for just a moment. Please, sir, a second of your time. The would-be do-gooders of this world, thwarted by busy, no-nonsense minds.
Hustle bustle, jostle jostle, a light aboard, away we go. Click click, rattle rattle, shuffle shuffle, newspapers rustle, hissing like angry snakes.
Masses frequent the warm paving. The polythene rustle of shopping bags mixes with megaphones from socialist workers. I try to dodge through the crowds, a real-life non-Italian Mario.
Sun is painting the pavement and the hands and faces of people perching on the square blocks spilled from the entrance of the city library. Sun is pressing against the glass walls of this corner building, and those readers beyond the glass stifle quietly in a loud heat, thinking about the cold river galloping under a canopy of bridges and weighing up whether the filth is worth a plunge.
They are the devilish angels who push us to the edges, but not over, for we are stuck in the city of stuck.
The library is loud in its silence. Looking up from book or screen, you listen with your eyes and hear the susurrus of expectant fingers turning pages.
It all stops. You aren't you anymore. The outside can wait and change and get messed up while you stop and listen to the sounds of silence, of flicking another page into another world, where you aren't you, gaze into the real fake world as cars fly by, and it's all too busy to stop and notice the change.
6 floors of secret wonder, encased within pages upon pages upon pages of ink and space combined, painting images more powerful and morals more beautiful than any in their minds. A pit stop, hush, silence in the library, an awestruck silence of those hungry for hope.
Shiver, cold, these places are always cold. Not just a damp breeze, but a crippling numbness, choking like a shroud, seeping through layers of thick skin, chilled to the very bones.
Empty temples of fire and coal and steel and work turn away from Mother Tyne. The keel rings once married to rope in Riverbourne Sacrament are empty, dappled in rust and salt and kittiwake droppings.
She must stay inside this bulbous beetle building until her shift ends, fancying herself locked away, a Geordie Rapunzel, given the cruel gift of a window to gaze out at the big bad city and wish she had the time to get lost.
His words rise on through the roof of the shelter, where no one ever sleeps. Rest, hover, float away, in an eternal battle with the roar of traffic, each dying to be heard.
In the city of stuck, angels waltz with devils and chain themselves together to remain stuck. They thrive off the thrill of holding us back.
Beneath the bridge's belly, beneath its arching back, bridging the river and my world, kittiwakes call, cack and copulate at its joints.
The steel-stained sky lets go of rain, and it splashes upon the sun's masterpiece. The lovers run for cover under a bus stop, and the boy holds his guitar above his head, and the readers in the library sigh with relief, and the old man pushes a tear into a valley by his eye.
I would be a kittiwake, cascading through the air with wings of freedom and a flock of constancy. They watch over me from above, propped up in their grimy nest apartments with neighbours in all directions. Even their excrement shows signs of closeness, parallel spills down walls side by side. But Newcastle would have us out. We are a pain, an eyesore. They will slash our increasing colony like the long-severed, fraying human ties I once had. At times, it seems like they are the only ones who can feel as I do. And if I just unseal my human mouth and free my imprisoned thoughts, their wild nightmare screams will erupt from me too. I would fly at the pace of the world in order to escape the solitary night.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? I'm northern, that makes you grey and miserable.
Words take flight and soar, past the casual, cultured, classy theatre fanatics, past stomachs full and glasses clinking, past aromas of countries and cultures combining and clashing, past rows of rowdy revellers, where the notes rush out of melodic chambers that witness a boy pick up his first 6-stringed sword, and they race against the words.
A woman approaches me and speaks of how I could be saved by God if I opened up my soul to Jesus. She tells me God says in the Bible that he loves everyone, and even youngsters such as me can reach salvation. I ask her which edition of the Bible she is quoting from, the Old Testament or King James VI version. She tuts and struts away. I can't be dealing with her shit today.
Because water is hurling itself at Newcastle now, and Gateshead is holding her hand across the Tyne.
The Olympic rings have been taken down and Bear Grylls is not interested anymore. The 28 pulls over the Tyne Bridge a quarter to every hour and will reach Eldon Square in just 5 minutes. Bethan, it's really not going to fall down and you are not going to jump off. Seriously, what's your problem? The Tyne Bridge is tall and green, but I'm sure there are more interesting things to say about it than that. Like some sort of epic history I have no idea about. Sometimes I think about what it would be like to drive a car over one of the edges like I used to do in Mario Kart Double Dash. Then I remember how I always used to fall off. And if I can't control a kid's game, how am I supposed to control a car? Wow, maybe I should learn to drive because I'm definitely on this bus too often.
The street outside becoming further away as I descend into the station's underground bowels. Counting calm just to keep calm.
Worn paint turned to flecks of grass which crumble, dead, and flutter to a stop in the thunderous blackness of the deadly Tyne. Words whip through the beams of bridge, towers, whirl, whistle, dance.
Run up more stairs. Room 7 is not here and it's not going to appear like the Room of Requirement does in Harry Potter. If only. As for the sage, I like to think it looks like a beehive, but Olivia reminds me I've never seen a beehive, and Winnie the Pooh cartoons from 10 years ago are not the most reliable of sources.
St. George looks headless as you look out on the green. Dragon's mouth opens wide to receive a death born of fire and metal. Around the war memorial, teenage girls snap, chat and gossip. Poppies and Beths bicker behind the names of the fallen.
I walk along the side of rattling metal so that my footsteps echo and it feels like there are others with me. I like watching it close, the slow, almost painful closing of its unnatural jaw, and then the measured release, a sigh of relief of a bridge that reminds us we are still at the beginning of a new millennium. Only 13 years into another 1,000, and there are 987 more years to make something out of this one.
Explode across the water and tumble with the current. When night falls, this bend ignites, colours cascading, beauty to the beholder, and a rainbow spans the Tyne. Pots of gold spill from the open doors of bars, a sign that we've survived another 1,000 years.
Banners of the old religion, red and gold and fringed on polished brass, flutter in museums, the standards of forgotten armies and civilizations, utopic visions no longer lining streets, cast out by men and women with Westminster accents, and green puckered seats the colour of bottles or mould.
While they lead the double life, diving into murky waters, flying through open windows, leaving behind tram lines of fire and ice, leaving us stuck in the city of stuck.
Overhead, she catches sight of the levers, flashing in a shuttle across the bridge. Inside the carriage, everything rattles. Pushchairs and handbag buckles, the emergency brake and gravel in boots, eyes in sockets, and back behind the glass the library staircase rattles too, as the readers shrug on their rucksacks and clatter down to earth, awakening the building and themselves.
Burned and sweated in tunnels which now lie empty, veins without blood.
Maybe they're broken, breaking, trapping us here in hell's iciest antechamber.
Circling the great white dome, shooting through reflected stars, music and words fuse within the shadows, black snakes uncoil, lone figure draws breath, and the stalls all stand as one with tumultuous applause.
And for some reason, I'm never scared of falling off this one, and never think of people ending their lives, for even as the rain lashes down in the middle of summer, the Millennium Bridge is hopeful.
I cross the low, closed islet of the Tyne, the curve of white and grey on deep lapping blue. Its swathe of pearl and wire juxtaposes.
Echo, no echo. Can anybody hear me? No. Wait for the next train.
For now, the night sets in and the fading light extinguishes my mindfulness, and there is only darkness inside and outside, and I can no longer see further than this minute of this night of the 13th year.